Good afternoon, everyone. We apologize for our technical difficulties. My name is Laurie Campbell, and I'm the Executive Director of the Metastatic Breast Cancer Alliance. On behalf of the Alliance, I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, Metastatic Trial Talk, an overview, which is a new app that provides MBC patients with curated news and information about MBC research. It's a companion app that's integrated with MTS, Metastatic Trial Search. I'm excited to introduce today's guest speakers. We have two. First up, we have Ellie Cohen. Ellie is the Program Director of BreastCancerTrials.org, an organization which is a longstanding member of the Metastatic Breast Cancer Alliance. Ellie's also an assistant professor in the UCSF Department of Surgery and a senior analyst with UCSF in the Breast Cancer Center. She has a PhD in neuroscience and is also an early stage breast cancer survivor. Also joining Ellie will be Susan Cullen. She is the program manager that handles all of operations for breast cancer trials and provides support to patients, research staff, and other users of the BCT website, as well as MTS and MTT. Susan has a BS in operations research and has completed training at UC Berkeley in clinical research and management program. Before we get started, I wanted to provide a couple of housekeeping notes. We have allocated 45 to 50 minutes for presentation and demo, and have an additional 10 to 15 minutes that'll be available for questions at the end. During the presentation and demo, if you do have questions, please write them into the Q&A text box that's provided as part of Zoom. With that, I will turn the baton over to Ellie. Welcome, and thank you very much for giving us all an update on Metastatic Trial Talk and also Metastatic Trial Search, just to put it in context for those that are new to the services that are provided by BCT.org.
Thank you very much, Laurie. This is Ellie speaking, and I have Susan by my side, who will be talking a little bit later during the presentation. And thank you all for signing on and listening to this introduction to Metastatic Trial Talk, which is very new. It was launched on June 27th, so it's barely a month old, and we're really happy to be showing you Metastatic Trial Talk. So to put Metastatic Trial Talk in context, I think it's important for us to give you an overview of our work at BreastCancerTrials.org, which we affectionately refer to as BCT. Metastatic Trial Talk is a direct descendant of BCT, which was our first application that we built in the nonprofit setting. BCT was developed in order to engage breast cancer patients to consider clinical trials as a routine option for care, and to empower them to find information about trials that might be appropriate for them, and to proactively talk about trial opportunities with their physicians. It launched in 2008, and it has evolved to actually having two applications on the site. One is we call BCT Match, where patients can enter a profile and find trials personalized to their situation. And for patients who don't want to enter a profile, we have BCT Browse, in which a user can browse through over 600 research studies that we have on our trial, and we provide filters and search tools to make it easy to find trials that might be appropriate for a patient. As I said, we operate in the nonprofit setting, and as we'll see, in a very collaborative mode. Last year, we had 127,000 visits to the BCT homepage. BCT really has information for patients across the entire breast cancer journey. In 2014, we developed a collaboration with 5 breast cancer organizations to take the experience we've had with BCT to develop an application that was specifically for metastatic breast cancer patients. This we called Metastatic Trial Search, And metastatic trial search differs from BCT in two important ways. One, again, it's specifically for metastatic breast cancer patients. But in the other way it differs is BCT is sort of a destination website. You have to go to BCT either through a bookmark or from a Google search. It takes you away from where you have been in order to find the information. We wanted to look at a more federated system. Could we embed the trial matching tools on the websites of advocacy organizations so that they can stay within their organization while they, or in their trusted community, while they had easy access to clinical trials. From metastatic trial search, we begat Metastatic Trial Talk, and we're going to be talking about that in just a few minutes, but I just want to do a little bit of a deeper dive into where we are with metastatic trial search. So we started with a collaboration with 5 breast cancer organizations. Last year, we enlarged the footprint of our collaboration to include now 13 organizations, including ourselves. And as we'll talk later on, we are always welcoming new partners. Embedding metastatic trial search on a nonprofit advocacy site is free. It's powered by BCT, and so the burden is very, very low. In conjunction with launching Metastatic Trial Talk, as I said, on June 27th, we also launched a new version of Metastatic Trial Search. And as we do with our applications in general, we do a lot of listening and get a lot of feedback. And so the new version of Metastatic Trial Search takes into account the feedback that we had from patients. It has a new look and feel, a new logo, a new name to make it clearer for people who embed it on a site that may be attractive or engaging other cancers, that this is Metastatic Breast Cancer Trial Search. And we're looking to add additional elements for matching. In this release on June 27th, we added BRCA as a matching element alongside the other biomarkers. And coming soon, we're going to include matching on prior treatment, which is a very important eligibility requirement for metastatic breast cancer patients. But even more importantly, this upgrade to Metastatic Trial Search has a new trial summary design, a new way of showing the results that you receive when you do a search. And this is often the most challenging part for patients who do search on any of the applications, because the amount of information that they get back can be very dense, it can be very confusing, and how you slice and dice that information to determine what might be best for you can be a challenge. So we redesigned our trial summary result, again, based upon focus groups and usability testing for easy scanning on the web, not just testing just the right information that patients need to make a decision as to if they want to move forward with a particular trial. And starting on the front page, just looking at a high-level description of the study purpose and eligibility, with patients told us was the most important. We also included options for filtering. There's a search box, there's a variety of filters on geography, phase. You can determine whether or not you only want to look at treatment trials as opposed to all trials, or you only want to see the latest trials that have been added to Metastatic Trial Search. We've increased the way or enhanced the way you can share trial information, particularly a single trial if you want to share that with your doctor or another patient, on social media or on email. And we've added action buttons to make that easier, big buttons to say, I will share that with my doctor, we'll open up an email button, or to contact a research site, again, we'll open up your email client with the contact information we have for that research site. So we talked about Metastatic Trial Search, MTS, we're full of acronyms, so now I'm going to circle back to MTT because that is completely new. So what is MTT? MTT is a portal to news and features about metastatic breast cancer research from trusted online sources. So why MTT? So MTT, Metastatic Trial Talk, or the idea of it, was actually generated from patients, from discussions we had with patients in focus groups where we were evaluating metastatic trial search. And we learned from patients that one of the ways they were using it was to highlight new research that they could talk to with their doctors, even if they weren't in a decision-ready mode. And so when we asked them why, they said that they valued the fact that they could get the latest research. It was a source of research news, and that looking on the internet, which is obviously another source, could be very overwhelming in terms of the amount of information, how it's widely distributed across various sources. How do you trust all the information? You know, there's sponsored content, ad content. And so they felt that we, as a nonprofit, was a trusted source of information. And so from that, the idea of creating or building upon that need came into being. And so we developed the idea for Metastatic Trial Talk as a monthly publication with links to carefully selected, unbiased articles from around the web, including content from our MTS partners. So one thing, and Susan will elaborate on this, we don't create content. We are just a trusted aggregator of the content. And so before I turn this over to Susan, the reason that I spent time talking about metastatic trial search is we don't see these as two separate applications. We see these as two companion applications that support each other. Metastatic Trial Talk, which you can see here on the right, raises awareness and puts patients in touch with information about breast cancer research, the latest news, or other things that are important in raising your awareness to the important research and putting you in a mindset which we hope will engage you to look for trials on metastatic trial search. So it's our way of linking access to and awareness to metastatic breast cancer research in these two companion applications. And now I have a companion next to me, and so I'm going to turn this over to Susan, who will give you a live demo.
Thanks, Ellie. So as Ellie said, we did and want to create a one-stop shop for of information related to metastatic breast cancer research as a companion to metastatic trial search. So I'm going to pull up the actual application and show you how it works. We organized Metastatic Trial Talk in a grid of 9 categories. And the content categories include MBC Research News, Conference Talk, new trials, which will list the new trials from the past months that we've posted to Metastatic Trial Search. We'll list personal stories and link to blogs and inside clinical trials, resources and support, and from the experts. And I'll talk a little bit more about how these categories work. But every monthly issue will link to Metastatic Trial Search from the center square. So we'll provide easy access to trial matching as it relates to this information. And we also will have every month a square called Talk to Us, and I will talk about that in a little while. So each square every month will have a focus or a theme. And you can determine the theme by just hovering over the square. So for this month, this July issue, Metastatic Breast Cancer Research News focuses on treatment options for BRCA positive metastatic breast cancer. Conference Talk will focus on the recent ASCO conference. And if you click the square, or any square, you'll land on a landing page that provides an overview of the theme, as well as 1 to 5 links related to that theme. And for MTT, we're not, as Ellie said, we're not creating new content. We're aggregating the quality content that already exists on the web, and we're vetting it and presenting it, this relevant information from trusted sources. And we're also resurfacing what we call evergreen content, which is valuable and timeless information that exists on websites that might be buried in a way or harder to access than the more current content out there. So, you know, something like a personal story or an animation of how immunotherapy or CDK inhibition works, and we'll re-expose or link to that information. And the information that we link to is carefully selected in collaboration with Sue Rockman, our managing editor. We've worked with her for a long time. She's a medical journalist who writes for Cancer Today, the Journal of the National Cancer Institute, the Susan Love Research Foundation, and many other organizations. And she chooses content from mainly our partners' websites, as well as a selection of other trusted sources like Forces X-rays, the NCI, and ASCO. But we also want to encourage our partners and our readers to help us collect this information. We want to know what your favorite sites are. So there'll always be a square every month called Talk to Us, and that will link to a form where you can share with us your favorite sites or a particular article, or send in a personal story or a link to your blog, and also provide feedback for us about Metastatic Trial Talk. And because MTT is a living document and a collaboration, we'll be adding content to these themes over the months and beyond. So, for example, if you have seen an overview of ASCO that that you really liked, you could send that to us to Talk to Us, and we'll be adding that to the square. Or so. Ellie will also talk about how we're planning to distribute Metastatic Trial Talk, but I just wanted to point out that for every square, there'll be links so that you can share that particular square on social media. So if we link to your content or your blog, it's an easy way to share that information. Okay. So we also see MTT as becoming an archive of carefully selected, curated content related to metastatic breast cancer research that's easily available in one place. If you click on this hamburger icon in the upper right, you can access the archive, and each issue will be listed, and the content will be archived by category. So as we continue to publish through the course of the year, we'll have more content that gets archived, and it will all be available at all times. And you can also click through here to see more about our team, our partners, and also about BCT and our suite of services. So now I'm going to turn it back to Ellie, who will talk more about how we distribute, or we plan to distribute MTT.
Okay, thank you, Susan. So we are looking at ways to distribute MTT through multiple channels. We specifically designed it for social media. It has a very graphical interface. I like to call it that MTT is Huffington Post meets the Hollywood Squares, and it was intentionally designed that way. We have a social media toolkit that our marketing director at Quantum Leap has developed for us. It has buttons and banners, thumbprint images, various ways if anybody would like to post links or images on the website. Every month we'll be updating, the social media toolkit, because we'll have suggested posts that link to the new content, the new themes that we'll be presenting. And Kristen, our marketing director, will be helping us with that. In addition, individuals can subscribe to MTT. We have a subscribe to us button, and therefore you can get sort of stealing a line, I think, from some publication, MTT directly to your inbox. So we want to make it really easy for people to be able to access it. In addition, as Susan said, even though we're publishing this monthly, the pages are live. And so if in the case of an ASCO presentation, if for some reason we missed your ASCO summary, please let us know. We'll put it up anytime that you give it to us. So the page remains live and accepting of new content throughout the month. In addition, we intend to publish individual squares. If you think of the squares as almost sitting like in an egg crate, each square can be lifted out, and we'll be circulating that content with social media, either the same content or some different content. If something really timely comes up, let's say in research news, we will be developing social media posts related to that. So it's sort of an active, live, interactive distribution. So the one thing I want to stress, and I think the thing that's been the most exciting to me as we dipped into the metastatic community with Metastatic Trial Search and now Metastatic Trial Talk, is the spirit of collaboration in which they are conceived and which we like to operate. If you are interested in embedding Metastatic Trial Search on your website, just let us know. Here's an example of what it looks like on the breastcancer.org site. So as you can see, all the breastcancer.org navigation stays intact. We do all the work for Metastatic, for all of our trial searching applications. We write the content for the trial summaries, which is another unique thing that we do compared to other search engines. We provide you the technical support for embedding it. You just basically have to give us a page. We give you a little bit of content, and then we push Metastatic Trial Search, both the form and the trial results. So it's really easy peasy. As I'll show you in a minute, we are supported by sponsors and granting organizations. So for nonprofit advocacy sites, we really provide all this for free. We also invite you to provide content to Metastatic Trial Talk. You can use the Talk to Us button or the call for content form. Please engage with us because we're here to share your content. Again, we're not creating content, but we want to make it easy for metastatic breast cancer patients to have access to the wealth of good content that's on the web. And we would love, in terms of becoming involved, if you would help us promote MTT and MTSET through your social media channels, newsletters, blogs, email listservs. If you have suggestions as to how we can do this better, we're relatively new at this process. We welcome your collaboration that way as well. So just a word about our team. Metastatic Trial Talk, Metastatic Trial Search, BCT, does have people behind it in addition to Susan and I. As mentioned, Sue Rockman has been working with us ever since we launched BCT. She's really the BCT managing editor, but she's taken a larger role in terms of curating the content for Metastatic Trial Talk, and we're very lucky to have her on our team. We also work with our new program associate, Hong Mei Yu, who's really helping us launch our social media effort in terms of social media calendar and posting, and hopefully interacting with your sites on social media. And lastly, Kristen Zeitzer is the Marketing and Communications Director who works for Quantum Leap Healthcare Collaborative. Many of you know we are a program of Quantum Leap Healthcare Collaborative, and we benefit from some of the shared resources, and having some of Kristen's time is one of those opportunities. Lastly, I really want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, our supporters, and that includes our sponsors, which really allows us to have these applications, Metastatic Trial Search, Metastatic Trial Talk, and have that available free within the nonprofit community. And the granting organizations which have provided funding for us to build Metastatic Trial Search, to build, Metastatic Trial Talk, to develop a social media campaign. We are very, very grateful. And I just want to take one step back and just call out the Avon Breast Cancer Crusade, which seed funding from Avon and Pfizer really launched our whole collaboration, starting in the metastatic community, starting with Metastatic Trial Search, and helped underwrite the launch of Metastatic Trial Talk as well. So really a call out to Avon and Pfizer. So with that, I think we've concluded the talk. Susan and I would here to take any questions you have, either now or please, if you want to jot down our contact information, if you have anything you want to share with us or talk to us about, please feel free to do that. And I thank you for your attention.
Great. Thank you, Ellie and Susan. At this point, we're going to open up the field for any questions. Again, if you have questions, there's a ability for you to type in your question in the text box that's provided via Zoom. Susan, while we're going to give people a little bit of time to go ahead and write in their questions, would you mind going back just in terms of the demoing of the Metastatic Trial Talk and the screen itself? And I know you spent time a little bit, but maybe elaborate on the user experience and give us a quick just summary of each of the different segments of the screen, and maybe go into it so that there's a lot of metastatic patients that are on the call to get today, and this is brand new to them. So I thought it might be helpful to just reinforce kind of the user navigation of the screen.
Sure, absolutely. So each category is sort of behaves in a similar fashion, and if you hover over each one, you'll get an overview of what the content we're providing for that month is. So for NBC Research News, like I said, it's treating BRCA positive metastatic breast cancer. And this month, we are linking to 3 articles that relate to this theme. And one is linking out to our partner, breastcancer.org. Another links to the FDA article about the approval of Lynparza, and then we're also including a personal story or a viewpoint from an individual on this topic. And news from ASCO, we're linking to 3 overviews from ASCO. Oh, sorry, 4. And we are aware that there's other really good overviews out there, and we'd love to include them. So we have kind of an aggregate of all the information that is was available after this conference. And new trials will always show the trials that have been posted to Metastatic Trial Search in the past month. So we do break that out by breast cancer type, and you can click directly from here to the listing on breastcancertrials.org for that study. And now, okay. And we'll also always include a link here to Metastatic Trial Search to view all trials for metastatic breast cancer, and not just the new listing. Personal stories, and this month we're highlighting Catherine O'Brien, who's an advocate that many of you might know. And we link to an article in her blog, and as well as some tips that she has written for sharing your story. And this square will always link to Metastatic Trial Search, and every month we'll link to a MTS that is embedded on one of our partner sites. And this month we link to the breastcancertrials.org posting of MTS, and next month we'll link to another organization's page. Inside clinical trials, this month we're talking about eligibility criteria, and we have 3 links from ASCO, the FDA, and Cancer Today on information about the eligibility criteria. And resources and support will always list or provide a comprehensive list of all support and resource options, but every month we'll highlight a different sort of area. And this month we're highlighting organizations that provide helplines. So Susan Komen, Living Beyond Breast Cancer, and the Cancer Support Community. And similar for From the Experts in Inside Clinical Trials. So each one you can just hover over to see the theme and click through to see the landing page and an overview and the links that are related to that theme.
So just the one thing I would say is From the Experts is content that is a little bit denser than maybe some of the other content for those who want a deeper level of content. So it's interviews with oncologists or information that oncologists are sharing online with other doctors, like from OncLive. And so it's for those who really want to do a deeper dive into topics. We wanted to make sure that we would have some content available for individuals who were looking for more detailed content.
Great. Thank you, Susan, for showing a little bit more of the user experience and how that works. We do have a number of questions. Susan, for you and for Ellie. The first question from Sandra, have you considered creating an app for quick access on phone and iPad?
It's in the queue. I think it's really important, and you're very, very right. We have seen just from our own stats that more and more people are coming from mobile devices. Metastatic trial talk, you can view not from an app, but on Safari, and the squares will stack up. So you can view that on your phone, but again, not as a individual app. Metastatic trial search is a little bit more difficult because there's so much information. Certainly, we don't have an app for it. It might lend itself to an iPad again through just through Safari or another, but I think we would really have to change the design to do an app for it, you know, if you want to see it on your phone. So an app for an iPad would work, but you're absolutely right. More and more people are looking for that, and we're thinking about how to do that. But thank you.
Great. Another question from Sandra. Once there are several monthly issues, so you're going to archive them clearly, it might be easier to list past content by subject rather than months. Are you guys going to do any kind of tagging so that patients can easily find content?
Yes, we will. It will be tagged, and I'm not entirely sure how to access the tags, but the archive will be by past issues as well as the general categories, and if you click on each one, you'll be able to see the theme. They'll just be added to this format. But yeah, we will be tagging, and I believe the search box is
Okay, there is a search box
for looking for articles on similar topics.
But if you want to talk further with us, you know, and have something specific in mind, please feel free to call us, because we very much enjoy input and try and serve the needs of the community.
Great. Next question. When there are big conferences like SABCS, do you envision having daily blasts with feedback from conference participants?
You know what I'm thinking that we might do, and is actually collaborate with somebody who's already doing that, as opposed to recreating the content. There are another number of magazines or organizations that are doing that. You know, Cure magazine does that, and so I think it would either we could aggregate again a number of ongoing efforts and sort of distribute it that way, so people don't have to go helter-skelter. It'll be all in one place. So I think that's a really important thing for us to explore leading up to San Antonio this year.
Great. Next question's from Joan. Tremendous amount of work and an excellent outcome. Tracking back to MTS, can a patient search for a trial with a search term but without using a zip code? So depending on the trial and a patient's particular circumstance, the patient may be able to attend a trial outside of their own zip code, but not able to not know the zip code of the institution that's sponsoring the trial.
Excuse me, we just had a fire truck go by.
Yep.
Yes, the answer for you can fill out the form and not enter a zip code. Although you can always enter a zip code, and you will see all the studies and sorted by the distance from that zip code.
Yeah.
So zip code isn't a required field, mandatory?
Zip code is not a required field.
But even if you put the zip code in, there's a slider, and the slider helps you to customize what the radius you want to look at. So you can pull the slider all the way to the right, and that'll show you studies across the country.
Right. Oh, well, I'm just reminded that if you don't enter zip code, that this application will automatically put in your
Zip code.
geolocation, but you can, the default also will show trials across the US, but if you only want to see trials within 50 miles of your zip code, I think the question was actually not seeing only trials close to your zip code. So there are options by using this radius slider that you can see all of the trials, and they will be sorted by below by the distance from your zip code.
Well, we have that live. Do you have another question?
Yes, we have two more. The next question from Jennifer, how do we sign up for the email?
There is a subscribe button on Metastatic Trial Talk. And I believe, yes, you can subscribe by clicking here. And there's also a subscribe button by clicking on the.
Yeah. Do you see that? Maybe we should put that in red or something.
Yes,
Oh,
we
this is
do see
why.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, on the site to be able to subscribe.
Yeah, maybe we need to have that pop a little more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think if you did, it would be a kind of a clear call to action. CTA, it might be easier to find. Last question from Sandra, just a suggestion of adding the Alamo Hot Topic stream section at the San Antonio.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Thank you. That's great content that we would love to have here and consolidated in the archive as well. So thank you.
Are there any other, I think we've answered the questions that were submitted. Just give people another minute or two to ask any final questions. Okay, well, I think that concludes kind of our session today. I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's MBCA webinar and give a special thank you to both Ellie and Susan for giving us an informational update on metastatic trial search and metastatic trial talk. And sorry, Dana's telling me there's one last question in the quote. Let me see. I think I've answered all that are there. Also,
it was submitted via chat instead of the Q&A form. So
yeah, Dana, why don't you let us know what it is, because I can't, for whatever reason, ask.
Oh, okay. The question, I know you've considered providing patient navigation to assist in finding clinical trials. Is this still in the queue?
Yes. Yes, definitely. In fact, now that these two applications are launched, that is our immediate next task.
Great. So there's more to come, it sounds like. Well, thank you for all that you've done in terms of supporting the metastatic breast cancer community and the spirit of collaboration and doing such great work in terms of providing a suite of services that will be helpful as people are in different, looking at and needing different types of information to help them make decisions around trials and just general information. You've made it really easy, kind of the one-stop shop, so that there's a lot of good content here that people can look forward to receiving and using every month. With that, just in terms of closing remarks, just a reminder to people that we do have another webinar scheduled for Wednesday, August 29th, same time, 12:30 p.m., same station. And that will be Mark Fleury, who's a principal of policy development and at the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. He was very instrumental in the recent publication of the clinical trial landscape document that was produced by ACS CAN, and he's going to be talking to us, kind of providing highlights of that that I think will be of interest to this audience as well. So with that, thank you all. We will be posting up today's presentation on the NBC Alliance YouTube channel. So to the extent any of you want to spend more time or refer maybe to one of your colleagues that was not able to attend today, please feel free to do that. And thank you very much. We appreciate your participation today. Thank you again, Susan, Ellie. Have a good day.
Thank you for allowing us to present.
You betcha. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.